How many talking head videos? What percentage do you think are AI?
No idea.
A lot of the data says about 50%.
50%.
So about half of them.
Start it up. Let's get it rolling. Big ideas, money folding. Hustle smart, dream so wild. Turn that grind into a joyride.
All right. So this is episode 43.
43.
Fighting 43rd.
Let's go.
All right. Your AI model just became illegal.
Hey. Yeah. Well, there's 2 points to this discussion I want to have. The risk to these companies and the risk to businesses using these companies. So like there's the companies, the platforms, and the end users.
All right.
And the people, I guess, in general.
All right. Let me set the table
Humans.
here. Okay. So what we're talking about today, folks, is
Karens.
Obviously there's a lot of people generating AI content,
hell yeah.
images, videos,
How many people?
things like that.
How many, sorry to interrupt you right away. How many talking head videos, what percentage do you think are AI?
No idea.
A lot of the data says about 50%.
50%.
So about half of them. So one out of two.
Okay. So why this is becoming important is New York Governor Kathy Hochul signed into law in December 2025 the first state law in the U.S. requiring advertisers to disclose when AI-generated synthetic performers appear in their ads.
You think government has obviously no idea what's happening.
They're trying to they're trying to define something that has no real definition.
I think maybe they're trying to get it. Maybe they're trying to get to robots later because they know that's going to come.
So that law takes effect June 8th, 2026, less than 3 months from now. And it defines synthetic performer as an AI-generated digital asset that appears as a real human person. Fines start at $1,000 for the first violation and $5,000 for each additional one. AI-generated product images in synthetic environments are not covered.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So that's actually kind of interesting. It only applies when there's an AI-generated human in the ad.
Yeah, I like that distinction, but we'll talk about it too.
Yeah. So you also don't need to disclose that AI was used in your creative development process.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what that means really. It's just like if you
it's
use
like
AI to make a script.
The scripting.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. So that's probably
storyboarding
good.
probably too, depending on the context. But yeah.
So California's AI Transparency Act goes into effect on August 2nd, 2026. It requires AI watermarking on image, video, and audio content from Gen AI systems with over 1 million monthly users. So fines are $5,000 per violation per
Sorry, back
day.
that up. Gen AI.
Like generative AI.
Yeah, but sorry, the systems that do that?
So yeah. So this is, I'm not totally.
Not the platform, not like TikTok.
Yeah. So this is an important distinction. So the California law targets the AI providers, company like OpenAI and Midjourney, while the New York law targets the advertisers using the content, which is weird, right? Like it should be the advertisers, shouldn't it? That are responsible for that?
I think probably they think they
like
can
the
get
publisher.
No, I get that. I think
out.
that makes certainly for the fines. I think they are trying to get at the root of it.
Yeah.
I think I think, or perhaps the New York one's like, well, if we address the demand created by the tools, then that'll become less appealing in the market, which makes sense to me.
Do you know who was behind the California law? Who's pushing that?
Newsom? I don't know.
No, it's, do you remember SAG-AFTRA?
No.
Do you remember they were on strike? It was the Screen Actors Guild.
Oh, yeah.
They were on strike, right? So they were the driving force behind the New York legislation. They're trying to protect human performers from being replaced by
New
AI.
York or California?
Actually, New York.
Oh.
So I don't know why they were pushing the New York one. I don't understand totally how this works, where like a state law sort of like starts things out, and then maybe it's like California and New York do it, and then are they like big enough a market that it then just sort of like.
Yes.
Well, you got to do it for California and New York, so you just do it for
the platforms. I think sometimes they're just like, well, we'll just do it everywhere.
Do it everywhere, right? Yeah, just so they don't have to have any issues.
Those are the two biggest markets.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and it's difficult to figure out what state you're necessarily in if you were signing up
because
to do
the
it.
weird thing is the end users like wherever, right? So it's kind of like there could be in Wyoming, but the content could be produced in New York. I guess like New York's also the advertising like hub of the universe. So anyway, whatever. Okay.
So the good folks at Gartner did a study and found that half of consumers prefer when brands don't use AI in their interactions. I thought it would have been higher. I thought it would have been like 80% of people would prefer real people in ads.
I bet a lot of those people though don't know that they're looking at AI all the time.
But if you ask them, if you say, hey, would you prefer AI or real humans in ads?
I'm just saying they might think of it as something more abstract.
maybe. I don't know. Whatever.
Than the clearly mainstream level it is.
Yeah. There's also some talk about a federal standard for this, obviously. But anyways, so where do you land on this? Because I know you are in the process of stealth mode Dave's product, and
we'll talk about it next episode, I think.
Yeah. So
Whatever.
where are you at on using this type of technology for your creative?
Oh, using it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is a pretty big deal because, so the first thing is I'm advertised to constantly, and I mean constantly, on any social media platform I'm on about how I can use these AI tools. And, I don't have to worry about affiliates anymore, and I can create all my own content and generate all these videos. And they always, I actually did a Dave's Hot Take newsletter blast about this because I was so frustrated in using these tools because they always market them as just do like 2 sentences of a prompt and it'll make this amazing commercial for you. And that's not true. It like, don't get me wrong, it's a lot better than me having to hire all the people and get the cameras and do all, or like an agency and do all this stuff for sure.
Yeah.
But it still has its own flaws. But at the end of the day, I've been using it a lot to build content because you can, and it doesn't really matter what you're using. Like there's platforms that try to aggregate the different video making tools. Yeah. And then there's the actual like generative AI tools that have like their video offshoot that I use as well. So for example, I'd use like Flow with Google, which is like their Gemini Labs video, whatever. And you can add like artifacts to the video, an artifact being like a physical product of some kind. And then it's like in the video.
Right.
And it's moving around and they're opening it. They're like, it's amazing when you think that that's even possible. Yeah. Anyway, going back to your root question, it's just like, it's very effective in the sense that I can get pretty good looking video pretty quickly for my website or for social handles or for social ads.
At very low cost.
Incredibly low cost.
Yeah.
In comparison to the alternative, which would be tens of thousands of dollars. Like these platforms probably cost a couple $100 a year, maybe $1,000 a year.
Okay. So what are are you planning to watermark the videos and images?
Yeah.
With AI generated? Or where do you land on that?
So I think that any good marketing strategy, in the limited amount of experience I have in D2C, so direct to consumer marketing, is that any good strategy here is going to be a mix of a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm just going to figure out what works. Right. So part of testing ideas would be by putting the AI content out there behind a certain script concept. Okay, let's see if this goes somewhere.
Right.
I think that'll be hurt if it says this is an AI one because it's going to pollute your data.
Yeah.
So it'd be a lot less effective in terms of testing content. I think the imagery content, people undervalue image ads. I think image ads still work depending on the social platform. So it might not matter in that case because those ones don't have to be watermarked. Right. So at least gives you an ability to A/B test.
So do you just mean like product ads without people in them that you don't have to watermark?
Yeah, you can have AI people in the ads.
Right.
As long as they're not video. This is a video specific thing. Oh,
is it? Okay.
It's like they don't want the talking head to be a not real person.
Okay.
Because it gives you the impression that they are. Whereas I think in the photo and an ad, like what's the difference between a stock actor?
Right, because they don't know the product.
It doesn't matter. They're not saying anything.
Yeah,
they're not pretending. They're not like pretending to be a real person. They're not like fraudulently real.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
So my point here though is that so I'm doing a lot of like testing on this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's going to definitely make it more complicated. The other thing too is I shoot a lot of my own content, so I'll do like my own face talking about stuff and so on and so forth. And I'm trying to. The goal of D2C marketing is do a lot of volume, not for the purposes of doing volume necessarily, but for getting a lot of concepts out there and seeing which ones pick up. And then when you find a winner concept, you put everything you have into it.
So instead of A/B testing, it's AZ testing?
Yeah. No, really. It's
or
just
Z, excuse me.
It's like, I don't have the luxury of a large marketing department that can like subtly test every little part of an ad. So it's basically wholesale different ads every single time.
Yeah.
Different concepts.
For sure.
The top 5 list of this, the zoom in, really crash zoom on you and something like there's different ways of doing it. So.
Right. So you're just going to test a whole bunch of different things. So let me ask you this. If you find an AI generated video that you created that you put out there that gets a ton of traction, knowing that Gartner found that people actually prefer real actors, is that when you go to the real actors, say, let's reshoot this real people?
Correct. So this is a whole other thing that we'll probably talk about. But so then when you're going to try to find affiliates, there's a couple of ways. So affiliates are like creators, people who make the content.
Yeah.
So the other ways you can go when you go after them, and let's say they agree to do something, or you say, I'm going to pay you to shoot a couple of videos for me. You give them a list and links to the previously successful concepts.
Right.
And you say, do this. So I'll give you a really good example. So my wife, she kept getting these ads for some like Korean face mask thing. Okay.
Oh,
it like evaporates over. No, not the red light. It's this thing you put.
Okay.
It's this thing that you put on your face, and like as you're sleeping, it evaporates. It's supposed to, I don't know. It's good for your skin.
Okay.
Women's products, like I have no idea. But anyway, so this funny thing, and I happened to be learning about this as she was getting these ads, and she was like, "It's the funniest thing. I keep seeing different people in different contexts doing the same thing with this mask." I'm like, "Yeah," because what happened was they did 100 ads. They found this ad had the biggest return.
Right.
Then they went out to all their affiliates and said, "Do that."
Right.
And guess what? She bought the friggin' mask.
Really?
Because she was getting so much of it. And it's all the same concept, and it was appealing to her.
Geez, I need this mask. I look like grim death.
You do. You're older than dirt.
Yeah. No, but I get you.
So like there's this is the game. So I would be willing to bet that was also done with an AI tool, though.
Yeah.
So there's something else to be said, too, with more established brands that like you just have more reach to start with. So you can test a lot more effectively.
Right.
Whereas when you're like a new account, it's like you're just dying for any engagement.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So where do you go from here? Your plan is do the AI. A to AZ. I'm going to say Z because it rhymes with B. But AZ testing. Okay. Try all sorts of different ads.
Yeah.
And then you find winners. And then are you going to go to like influencers and get them to do that stuff?
Yeah. That's what
are you going to go to are you going to go hire like a production company to actually get actors to do
I don't have the money to do that.
No.
But I think probably eventually you would do that.
Okay.
Like I think brands, you mentioned in the last episode going on like a journey as a developer. So I think the marketer's journey is you're piss poor trying to do whatever you got. So you're shooting your own content. You're finding low level influencers,
right?
Maybe probably 1,000 to like 10,000 followers on various platforms. You pay them small amounts of money to do various hooks and angles and give them some creative license too. You see what works, and then you double down on that and proceed. And then when you get to the next level, you hire better ones who have bigger reach, more proven success selling products. And then there's probably a mix at the next level where you have a lot of that. And then you're also working with an agency that's producing content that's going on more mainstream media.
Right. Right. Okay. Agree. I think this is a sound, business approach to try and figure this out. Okay. I do have a question for you because I know obviously when we market our podcast, all that sort of stuff, we kind of live and die by changes to the algorithm. Okay.
Yeah.
So on social media. So we're talking about like watermarking, AI stuff.
Yeah.
AI
well, you already
videos.
have to, you're supposed to tag stuff.
Yeah.
On all of these platforms when it
As
says
AI.
made by AI.
Okay.
No one does it because there's no real enforcement. I think all it does, I think most, like when I talk to a very limited set of influencers, but when I talk to them, they're like, well, really all that does is signal to the algorithm to probably suppress your video a bit.
Yeah.
And so then you're like, well, why the fuck would I do this? Right.
Yeah.
So
then if they find out that,
that there's teeth, right? It's a little bit different.
Right. So like, that's what I worry about is like all of a sudden, the algorithms changed. Google on YouTube says, hey, you know what? We're going to have some way of detecting AI generated content.
Sure.
We're going to now just bury that stuff because we don't want people posting that stuff. So we're just going to like make it impossible. So then your AZ is like, you're not just,
it's just more costly.
Yeah.
It's just more costly. There is no shortage of people trying to be influencers.
Right.
You can find, there are websites. It's easy. You can pay somebody $100.
Yeah. They
will do a video for you. They will post it on their account. And in some cases you own the video. Okay. So then you're like, okay, I'll take $10,000. That's a lot of money, but $10,000, we'll split it up over 100 different ones and we're rolling.
Yeah.
Okay. But
does it still work though? Like, let's say the algorithm changes and it detects that you've posted A to Z AI generated videos. So your
no, I'm not talking about AI. I'm talking about people. I'm talking about like normal people, non-AI people doing this. That's the way you get you're what AI I think displaces in my context is those low level influencers. Okay. So if that goes away, and I also, by the way, I want to talk about how this affects those companies in a sec, some of these companies in a second, but if that goes away, then we're basically just we're going back a couple of years.
Right.
We're basically going back to 2021, 2022, pre-AI video being good. 2023 probably actually. And then going to, how did you do this before? You find somebody, you pay them money, they do videos for you. And
Right. So like, I guess that's kind of where I'm going with this. Does AI generated content eventually just sort of become toxic to your brand?
Yeah.
And then we're not using any of those tools
it's hard
now
to see
because
how
it won't get any pickup.
It's hard to see how it wouldn't be a toxic thing.
Right.
Like, I don't think people like AI content, AI video content.
Yeah.
It's weird because humans always do better because we trust each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, so if I do a video and I'm showing my product and I'm like holding it, opening it, doing all those things, that's really hard to do with AI.
Yeah.
The second thing is like, is the AI representing it accurately? The consumer doesn't really know that. And I think that's the issue here is like, it's not just that the person is sort of is not real. This is like a fraudulent human being. It's that I think it implies that the whole thing could be bogus.
Right.
And I think that hurts consumer trust. Governments are trying to protect consumers from fraudulent behavior.
Right.
Because there are shitty actors out there who are going to be like, this is this new bike for your kid, and it starts out at 8 feet long, and you just compress it, and now it's in the palm of your hand.
Didn't that happen to you that you like ordered something on that you saw on Facebook, and it looked like awesome, and then it came and it was like tiny.
Those like circle thingies. Where you like spin it and it's like a sand thing.
Yeah.
And the video is this guy spinning one like as big as this fucking wall here. And then the one I got was probably like this big. You know what I mean?
Way. Yeah.
I mean, I picked that size.
Yeah.
But it was kind of fun. And that happens occasionally.
Did you hear when our dad bought these seeds for these plants that were supposed to have these like rainbow petals on them?
Yeah.
And then he like ordered them. He got like the light to like grow these things.
Real inspiration.
He wanted to then put these in his garden and stuff like that. I thought they were gonna look like super cool. And then he kind of like looked it up after he had bought it and all that sort of stuff. It's like, total scam. Yeah. It doesn't work.
Like,
doesn't happen.
Scam in the sense that they're not rainbow. They're like, but also what the fuck? Dad bought. Like, I love my dad. I love him to bits, but it was just like no plants are rainbow.
We've all made this mistake.
Totally. I buy crap all the time.
Yeah, you have the sand art thing. Dad has the like rainbow plants.
There's just stuff you get on Amazon too. Sometimes you're like, this is just not what I expected.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So. Anyway,
actually, Amazon puts on it like frequently returned item and stuff like that now too. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah. There's a lot happening.
They don't want crap like that. They don't want stuff coming back.
You have an account like health score in Amazon.
Yeah.
And if you have a lot of returns, it has a suppression effect on like search results and all these other things. Like they actually do an okay job of that, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
So, but can I talk about those companies for a second? Because I think that's a good. So you're a company. Your primary value point is aggregating other like LLM AI video platforms into one. So basically, there's this thing I use called Artlist because I get nonstop ads for it, and it's like you can pick from. So if you're doing images, you can do like Nano Banana version 1, version 2, like you pick all the different ones, and then there's like. I don't even know some of these video engines, but there's a whole bunch of different video engines in there you can pick from. So, and there's reasons why you might want to do it. And like they work okay. Yeah. Again, it's challenging, but there's a lot of their business is talking head, bogus influencers. It's the content, that 50% content that is fake on all these platforms is probably them and others. But so I think about them with this kind of thing, and I'm like, wow, this is really going to jeopardize this business.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, I don't know how
you demand for it, even though it's exploding. All of a sudden, if it AI generated content for advertising becomes toxic, then people won't be using that anywhere near as much.
People have to overtly be like consumers' minds can change over time.
Yeah,
it's possible. I don't exactly know the conditions that would trigger this, but it's possible that people become like okay with AI advertising.
Right. Maybe.
I don't really know how though.
Yeah. I doubt it.
Like, you'd never trust like a not real thing versus a real person talking about something, right?
Yeah. I would trust the real person.
Right. Cause it seems like mostly the benefit of these AI video tools is just for the companies. The consumer doesn't really benefit.
No.
So you'd have to find a way that the consumer uniquely benefit from that. So perhaps like the prices of products go down because the required marketing cost is lower.
Way lower. Yeah.
But that seems super unlikely because we're just going to profit take.
Yeah.
That's what everybody does.
Yeah. So, all right, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Being that, generally speaking, I think we're agreed that people probably prefer real people in ads versus AI stuff.
Well, the data says that too.
Was a law required in this for this to happen?
For the teeth.
You think so?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Well, again, most people you didn't know that half the videos you're seeing with talking heads
right
are probably fake.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So there's a consumer protection angle.
Yeah.
It's unnerving when I think about some of these tools and how well within reason they can represent a product.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I still just think that there is a duty of care from either the company itself that's producing this content.
Yeah.
So the advertiser, or perhaps from the platforms or from the marketplaces that the content was shown with not a real person.
Okay.
Because I just think that you would want to know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. If you bought something and you saw a video of it, you'd want to know if that person wasn't real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise you assume they're real.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you?
So, all right, let's kind of wrap this up and give the listeners some takeaways. So you're kind of in this game right now. You're kind of doing this stuff.
You will be soon too.
What are Dave's? Yeah. What are Dave's key takeaways from this and why? And
use it. Okay. First takeaway is use it while you can.
Yeah.
I would be trying to, if you're doing all that A/B testing and stuff like that, get as many different concepts out there as quickly as possible so that you can validate what's working and what isn't
before
the end of it.
Yeah.
Before the data is polluted.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair. And then if you can get some insight into which ones are working, then you're okay. It'll be less expensive from what were the dates there, like mid-April or mid-June, sorry.
Yeah.
As to when some of this stuff comes into effect. So after that, it's kind of like, okay, then you got to go back to the old-fashioned way, so to speak, which is more costly.
Right.
The second thing is that I think overall this is a good thing for society. Just as a more altruistic thing, I think it's just nice that consumers have a right to know. Yeah. I fundamentally believe that consumers have a right to know whether or not it's a real person talking to them. That's not unreasonable.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Right.
The last thing is that unless you're one of those platforms, for one of those platforms, this feels a lot like a Wifio moment.
Yeah.
At least it's going to be something where they're going to lose a huge percentage of their revenue.
Right.
And it'd be interesting to see how it affects the LLMs and their development, because I think video is a path forward for this. I also wonder how it's going to affect, because a lot of this is inspired around protecting actors. Right. I wonder how this is going to affect like Hollywood and if there will be legislation around movies and AI use in movies. I don't think that's ridiculous at all. That's probably coming. It's probably already on the docket.
Yeah.
So like, I think a lot of this is good for society, very bad for the companies that do this, and complicated but manageable for companies that are creating content.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Boom.
Solved it.
See you later.
you can't do a mic drop when the mic is mounted.
All right. See you later, folks.
Start it up. Let's get it rolling. Big ideas, money folding. Hustle smart, dream so wide. Turn that grind into a joyride.